Hi guys, welcome back to the BubblyPetz channel. I'm Isla. Today I'm going to be telling you guys how to properly care for an axolotl. I will go over some basic information that'll help you guys take care of them. Axolotls are aquatic salamanders and they look cute and like little aliens to some people. You may not ever heard of them. They're not super well known to a lot of people unless you're like into the pets, but they're really cute and they're pretty easy to take care of. So they are an interesting pet to add to your collection. Now let's go ahead up and see my axolotl's tank. Alright guys, now we're in the pet room. You might hear some of my birds in the background. First we're going to talk about the tank requirements. So the bare minimum for an axolotl is a 10-gallon, although they can grow pretty big, so a 20-gallon would be preferable. For the substrate, do not use small pebbles. They can accidentally ingest these and that'll kill them. So what you either want to use are large rocks, bigger than their mouth that they can't swallow, sand, or just have nothing on the bottom, a bare bottom tank. For the temperature, they prefer cold water, so it has to be, the good ideal range would be 60 degrees Fahrenheit to 64 degrees Fahrenheit. A little bit higher than that is okay, but do not let it go over 74 degrees Fahrenheit. Never let that happen, because then that's too hot for them. You can keep their tanks cool by freezing water bottles and then placing them in the tank, or you could use like fans on the tank. Keep their tanks in a colder room could work. Axolotls prefer dim to dark tank, so for their lighting you will want to use dimmer light setting or just use no lights at all. For their filters, you will want to have the filters on the lowest flow rate because they don't like a bunch of water flow. Also for aeration, you don't need to have a water air pump. It's not necessary. They take air from the water through their gills or they come up to the surface to get oxygen, so you don't need to have a bubbler. For decorations in their tank, you can have live plants. Make sure they are a tough variety that can survive the cold water conditions and won't be easily ingested by your axolotl if it decides to take a chomp. Axolotls need to have a hiding spot, so make sure you provide some shelter and hiding areas for them. Make sure there's nothing small enough for them to swallow too, just to be careful. For their diet, you can feed them a variety of insects like earthworms, night crawlers. For these, they can be pretty big and it depends on how big your axolotl is, but you might need to cut them up. And then you can feed them black or white worm, brine shrimp, daphnia, bloodworms. Some little fish like guppies can be fed occasionally. Make sure that they're healthy. You can also feed them pellets. There are pellets made especially for salamanders and newts. Make sure that the ingredients are natural and they don't have a bunch of chemicals in them. You can also feed them frozen foods. So like some brine shrimp, they might come in cubes that are frozen, or like the little bloodworms. They will eagerly eat. For my axolotl, I mostly feed him crickets. He's very picky, and it's been a problem since he was young that he just liked to spit out the pellets, or he would always spit out the worms. And crickets was the only thing I could get him to eat. But from time to time, I try to vary this. Okay, here's my cricket bin, guys. I'm just going to grab a cricket that I think looks like a nice size for my axolotl to eat. I usually feed my axolotl at least twice a week, and then I feed him around 3 crickets, unless he wants to eat more, but usually he's full at 3. When he is hungry, he likes to come up to the front of the tank and just stare out into the space. He'll look at you, and it looks like he wants something from you. But if he doesn't want to eat, he usually has his back turned and he'll ignore you. So let's see if he's hungry here. So I have the cricket still. I'm gonna try and grab it by its back legs. And then make sure your hands are clean before you put your hands in the tank. And then I put it right up to in front of his face. And he ate it. It looks like he doesn't want to eat right now. If he really is hungry and wants to eat, he'll snap at it pretty much immediately. Oh, he got it. Sometimes you should wait like a few minutes before you feed them again, because it takes them a bit to swallow it and then feel ready for the next meal. Also a note, so if you feed them live insects, do not feed them insects that have a lot of chitin. So this is like their exoskeletons. So for example, Madagascar hissing cockroaches, they have a very tough outer shell. This will not be ideal for them to eat because it's tough for them to digest. Let me know in the comment section below what you think about axolotls. Do you like them? Are they cool? Now on to tank mates. Axolotls can live with other axolotls. Just make sure that they are past the cannibalizing phase. So like this is like when they're younger, they will be more likely to like nip it at each other's limbs. But once they're adults, they're pretty fine to live with others and they get along pretty well. So make sure you have a big enough tank for that. Gotta have ample room for them. Other tank mates like small fish or snails or shrimp, make sure that they are able to live in the cold water, but also be aware that the axolotl may try to eat them. So some snails, you might want to be careful, make sure that they're not too tiny that they can easily be eaten. Some shrimp could be put in, but the axolotl might eat them too. So all in all, it's best to just have a species only tank. So other axolotls would be best to be kept with your axolotl. Let's pause here, guys. If you're enjoying my video so far, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Also, turn on that notification bell so you won't miss any future uploads about animal care from me. So here's my axolotl's tank, guys. It is a 10-gallon, which is small, but like next week, I'm getting him a new 40-gallon breeder, which I'm gonna set up. You can see I have large rocks that I used as substrate, and I just have a log in there. I don't have any live plants because I don't have any lights for his tank, and none of them have done very well in a low light setting. He has a hut that he likes to hide in too. You guys can use like many different things to make little hidey huts for them. Also, there is a hang-on back filter that I use on his tank. I put it on the lowest water flow setting, and I use like a bunch of sponge filters in there for the beneficial bacteria. My axolotl is a melanoid one, so that is why he's a darker purplish color. I got him since he was a baby, and back then I had to feed him tinier foods so that he could swallow it. And I had a bare bottom tank back then, just so it was easier for him. For tank maintenance, I usually do it once a week, and I will do basically a gravel siphoning is what I do in order to get the poop. You have to be careful when you're doing this though, because their poop is like, it comes in like a nice round package, but if you like squish it or something accidentally, it'll be like dust going everywhere. So you have to be careful with that in order to like get things that don't dirty the tank while you're cleaning it. Because it's low light and there's no lights on it, algae does like to grow on the sides of the tank, so I do have to use a sponge to scrape the algae off. Sometimes I will scrape the tank decor too to get the algae off. For their water change when you're doing it, make sure you use a water dechlorinator. Even though they are not like a fish, they are an amphibian and they live in the water. Amphibians have sensitive skin, so you do not want to use chlorinated water for them. Thank you all for watching my video. I hope you guys liked it and found it useful. If you guys have any questions, comment it down in the comment section below so I can get back to you guys. So that is all for today. I can't wait to see you guys next time. Bye!